Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Hos Bright Esports i Västerås kan du testa på både NASCAR och olika formulabilar, precis som Svenska Eracingligan's deltagare. Gå in på brightesports.com och boka just din tid.
Welcome to Tennessee as we go stadium racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Is the Håkan Schött 250, the third race of this season for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. It's been amazing action over the course of the first couple of rounds of the season, and as ever, we're expecting quite a bit of action tonight. Myself, Cameron Roger, and Dylan Coyle are in the commentary booth with Joshua Lee behind the scenes on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. Dylan, it's going to be very tight and frantic, potentially a lot of cautions as we go under the lights here at Bristol.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a caution-filled race for sure. Excited for it. I think it's going to be a fun one here. 250 laps around this half-mile Coliseum. They call it the last great Coliseum. The noise reverberates around the aluminum grandstands, the metal grandstands here, and they just make it a loud cauldron of noise, of sound, of engines, tires squealing, sheet metal just clanking up against the wall. So it's going to be a fun one here. We've got qualifying going on right now. 2 laps. They happen quickly. This is going to be fun, Cam.
Yeah, it is certainly. It's funny that you talk about obviously the rumble of the engines and that sort of stuff, because everyone is going to be sort of in that bowl. You just go round and round and round and round. 250 laps of action. But here is your schedule for the 23-24 season of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. Of course, the Oval Series. You have the Road Series as well. That will go on the weeks in between these Oval races. We've had Daytona, we've had Kansas. We now go to Bristol before we work our way all the way up to Talladega in February, where we'll finish the main season and go into the playoffs, the round of 15, the round of 10, and then the final where we will find the champion at Homestead, Miami. It's going to be an exciting quite a few months all the way to May next year, 2024.
Yeah, and an interesting note about how this schedule, how this playoff system, the championship system works here in the Svenska Eracingligan. It is not a round of 16, it is a round of 15, and then a round of 10, and then the final with 5 drivers competing at Homestead. It is a 5-race playoff. Yes, you get in by winning in the regular season, the first 15 races of the season, but you've also got to be in the top 25 in points, and you got to have at least 8 starts. Obviously, we see the point standings right now. It's kind of weird having that line separating 15th and 16th instead of 16th and 17th, but it adds a little bit of extra flavor to this season schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look out for, especially when we get a bit further into the season. Of course, we've only had 2 of the 15 races in the regular season, but as you see already, Blixt and Ericsson, they have those wins. They could be all important. You could be way down in the championship, but if you get that win, you jump straight up into those automatic transfer spots. So that's going to be very important to look out for, and especially, Dylan, somewhere tonight like Bristol, if there is a caution at the right time, if you pit at the right time as well, and you come out in where the traffic it works out, you come out in a nice place, that could really change this championship. Of course, a lot could happen over 250 laps, but certainly there's a lot of things that the drivers can't really control in this sort of style of racing.
Yeah, this environment is so, it's so used to seeing carnage and incidents happening all over, and things happen very quickly. You and I were talking about, do things happen slowly here? Do things happen quickly? Well, it feels like they're all happening at once, which is a bit of a cop-out, but I'll say this. Sub 15 second lap times means you're going to have traffic the entire way around this field. It is a smaller field than we're used to in the series, but that's not saying much when there's 30 drivers competing here at Bristol. I mean, that's 6 off the charter system that the Cup Series in the real world uses that would be and has raced at Bristol this season. So We've got a big group, a big pack of cars racing in this one at Bristol. An hour 40 time limit, so if we get 15 or so cautions, we can finish this race in normal 250 lap circumstances. And then 15 or so cautions, that's a lot, but would you be shocked to see it?
Yeah, we ended up with quite a few last time out at Kansas. We had such a strong green flag run towards the first stage, and then around that first stage, it just started going to caution after caution. And then we had an awesome, actually, sort of strategic play by Ericsson, number 37. Currently second in the qualifying session. He put on those new tyres, and it went green to the end from there, and he managed to come up through and basically overtook Broström with a couple of laps to go. He's currently sitting in that third place. As ever, such close times here at Bristol in the qualifying session, just a couple of tenths separating the top 15 or so, Dylan. That's really what we expected.
Yeah, it's exactly what we expected here. Now, it's going to be important, especially if we have any long green flag runs, to conserve the tires. I think the big question these drivers are going to be facing is, how much do you want to conserve the tires? How much do you want to go for it? Because if we do have a race with a lot of problems, a lot of cautions happening, you're going to want to go for it as much as you can. Maybe some conservation efforts with the rubber. Nonetheless, it's going to be a race of attrition. It is not a super speedway, but the carnage feels like one.
Yeah, it certainly is, as qualifying, of course, has finished for this race. Qualifying, as ever, is it's going to be quite important, but let's see how it goes over 250 laps. Here's your grid, though. Ericsson gets that pole position with Jesper Ericsson, your race 2 winner, alongside him. Broström and Hagman are on the second row, with Haflidarsson and Selander there on your third row of the grid. Solo and Holmer bring up the fourth row, with Gunnarsson and Nyholm inside your top 10. Blixt, your round 1 winner, and Ullman there inside your top 12.
We continue rolling down the order with Kenneth Tier in P13. Alongside him in row 7 is Eric Lundberg. Peter Helmbro in 15th, with Dan Segelsson in 16th. Håkan Schultz, I remember, this is the pronunciation of the race. We are trying to give the best ways to say your Swedish names, and we will try. We might look a little bit dumb at times, but hey, Håkan Schultz. That is who's starting in 17th, and he decided to sponsor the race. Robert Erling alongside him, with Anton Brotberg 19th, Bjorn Broström in 20th, Robert Eriksson, Philip Bjork 21st and 22nd, with Philip Carlen and in 23rd, and Jonas Skoglund in 24th. Only a few more to go here. I guess I'll finish it off. Marcus Stromberg, Marcus Stiller, Haflidi Johansson, Lucas Holmeren, Dennis Scherp, and the only one who did not study qualifying time is Jonas Fors.
Absolutely. It's a lot of drivers, to be honest. As you say, Dylan, we do see bigger grids around here, but 30 is still plenty on a 15-second circuit. Here is your conditions for today's race. 88 Fahrenheit, 89 on track as well. Mostly cloudy, so that's going to keep it cool as we go into the evening. 8:20 p.m. already at the race start, and that's only going to get later and later. So the track is going to cool down, Dylan. How is that going to affect the drivers, affect the tyres as you go through these long stints here?
It's going to allow these drivers to not suffer as much of the tire temperatures, but this is a track that is difficult to deal with no matter what. It had a couple years in the late 2000s that it had progressive banking, and that was the switch that SMI and Bristol Motor Speedway wanted to put into this to try and build up the racing. That was the same time the Car of Tomorrow came. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out the way they wanted. They reprofiled it. It's no longer progressive banking. And it's a very different type of racing. You have the high groove, you have the lower groove. I expect a lot more to go down low for the start, the high groove to take in some rubber near the end. I mean, we are going to see some interesting lines, interesting racing. And I don't think we're going to have green flag pit stops for anything other than damage here, Cam.
We do have one stage at 100 laps. Let's see how that one works out. We're told fuel can go about 120, 130 laps around here, so should in theory be a one stop in terms of fuel. But how's that going to work with tyres? They've got plenty of tyres for the race as the pace truck comes into the pit lane, the single pit lane around here being used as we go green for the Håkan Schött 250, the third round of the season for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. Of course, in Bristol, going to be remaining side by side. Some of the drivers try and use the high line and some drivers try and use the low line to get their position.
Already quickly rounding turn 4, and we see these drivers. Oh, we already have a wreck in the background. Car hit the wall, spinning, still on track, comes down. That's going to be Anton Oman, who is just dealing, or actually Lucas Holmeren, the Forza Esports Academy driver, wanted to go back up onto the track, decided to take it down to pit lane. Here's the interesting thing. 2 pit lanes here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's not big enough to have 1 full pit lane, but what we have in this series is a 1 pit lane rule. You have to enter in off turn 2 and go all the way around, even if your pit stall is at the end of the front stretch.
You know, which of course is going to make an interesting rejoin on the exit of turn 1 as well, as the drivers still try and find themselves into some positions. You're going to be seeing these battles continue throughout the race so far. There's the number 71 Bright Esports machine of Broström, who of course started a little bit higher up. It's dropped down a couple of places already at the start, and one of the major series organisers as well. Definitely don't be hitting him off. He's got Solo in behind to that number 13 machine. He's been looking very strong in the opening couple of races for that Alkintech team, but of course they need to try and work their way up slowly.
Broström was talking to us a little bit about wanting that win. He was in contention late at Kansas, but it's been a little while since one of the admins, the series admins in Broström, has gotten himself into victory lane. You know what you win here at Bristol Motor Speedway? Not only do you get a chance to go up to the 2nd story victory lane as Broström's going to get hit, and there's a big wreck. A caution has come out. Oh, big hits coming in after the fact. And,
yes, Solo was involved in that 13 machine. Further drivers coming in. We got a Hood down there on the apron as the first caution comes out. Well, I was expecting one maybe on the end of lap 1 there, but we kept green flag racing. But unfortunately, quite a few drivers are involved in that one. Some going back to the pit lane as well. The number 12 machine as well. So first caution of the day, Dylan. Let's see how it happened.
Yeah, just a case of getting loose in the corner, I believe, and lots of big hits. You know. Or, you ever hear the expression "arca brakes"? Yeah. Do you know that expression? Yeah, as the 12 got loose up into the car on the outside and then just couldn't save it.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it, but of course, you know, still.
This is arca brakes right here.
Well, not braking at all. You mean?
Yeah, wasn't there a certain Argentinian IndyCar rookie that might have done a little bit of that almost in the Indy 500?
Yeah, certainly. It's one of those things you sometimes you're so focused in what you're doing that you forget that there's cars ahead. Although, especially around here, you're coming around these corners so fast nowadays. Just got to be really sort of on it and got to be ready for anything coming your way. But the number 24 machine still leading the way. Aronson there. He's got the 37 of Ericsson in behind as we go to lap 9. We might be seeing this pace truck out quite a few times. We're told about 15 cautions is sort of the limit if we want to finish within the time limit. We actually got very close, Dylan, to going over that time limit, but we just went green at the right time to finish at the end back in Kansas.
Yeah, we just barely did. If we had another caution at the end there at Kansas, we would have had to be at that limit. But certainly, you know, I had no idea. I was completely in the wrong at Kansas with what I would have done on strategy. The race-winning move was a risky one, but it ended up being the one that, you know, got everyone into victory lane. Actually, it was a strategy that set both the winning car and the second place car back in 14th, 15th on the restart. Made it all the way up to 1st and 2nd by the time that checkered flag flew. So it's a smart call and a reason I should not be a crew chief.
Yeah, sometimes it is a difficult choice though, actually, because you're almost banking on what might or might not happen. Because if there was a caution and we finished under caution, obviously Ericsson wouldn't have won the race, but because it stayed green, it actually helped him. So sometimes you do have to take a bit of a risk, and yeah, I guess that's what wins you races, and that is where the best crew chiefs come out, because they take those risks and they take the opportunity to get higher up. At the moment though, of course, no one at the front is going to be thinking of pitting or anything like that. Way too early in the race. But Dylan, at what lap do you think people will actually think is a benefit to start pitting when the tires start dripping off?
I mean, I'll be honest. I think it comes down to the tire set limit. If you're in a position, there's 5 tire sets in this race, meaning that you can go into the pits and you're already on your first set. You can change into 4 new sets of Goodyear tires over the course of this race. I mean, 250 laps, you just kind of work with where the cautions fall, because you know there's going to be cautions that fall. I guess I'd say it really depends. If you can get to lap 60, 70, lap 80, and you're still in the same set of tires and caution comes out, you should get going. We're back underway again.
Yeah, we certainly are here for the Håkan Schött 250. First caution has gone underway. We're back to green flag racing as the speed ramps up once again here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the 3rd round of the season. Who is going to get victory? Quite a few laps to find that one out. We're getting some side by side a little bit further back inside the top 5 as some of the teammates there trying to find their way through. Of course, some of the Håkan Tech cars in there. They lost the number 13 of Dan Sola, who was involved in that battle. It was the number 58 machine there of Nihong trying to go on that high line, but everyone seems to be coming down low.
Yeah, everyone coming down low at the start. Not too much grip up top for now, but I do think that's going to be a very viable line as this race goes on under the lights here in Bristol, Tennessee.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one how that opens up quite a lot. Of course, with 250 laps, there's a lot of rubber being put down because you're physically visiting each part of the circuit so many times, with it being only a half mile. You definitely go round and round in this style of racing so far. Blix has made his way up into 8th place. He's going past Brostrom, of course. Brostrom dropping down, was almost involved in that first caution accident as well, but seems to be doing okay. He's going side by side now on the exit up outside of turn 2. Now they're going to be able to keep that position. I don't think Blix is going to have that one and holds on to it coming down on the front straight.
Yeah, Brostrom was lucky he wasn't involved in that incident any more so than just a quick love tap on the passenger side door panel. It could have been really bad for him. We see Anton Ullman right now in the mix here, fighting currently for 5th place. I mean, he's right on the back of Nyholm right now, and if he can maybe get a better drive off, that might work out better for him. But you do see Jonas Gunnarsson is experimenting with the lines a little bit right in behind, and now Ullman has to think defense.
Yeah, how much do you want to defend though around here? I mean, you definitely know it's the type of race where you're going to be going up, you're going to be going down, people are going to be getting involved. Traffic, especially in a few laps time if you stay green, is going to be going quite important. You have to sort of work out the risk and reward. But the number 58 machine is trying to make some moves, but unfortunately couldn't get the run there out of turn 2. So the 48 comes back in as Ullman holds onto that one. But certainly they're sort of yo-yoing forward. You see the momentum shift very quickly depending on what line they take.
You know the term be an octopus? Because an octopus has multiple arms, 8 arms exactly. That's my animal sciences professor would be happy from 10th grade. You gotta be an octopus here at Bristol. That's what I'm gonna say. But an octopus with 8 eyes and not necessarily 8 arms. You gotta be looking all over here to make sure that you're fighting in front. You're not having a lunge go on behind you. You always have to be focused forward, because if you look back for a second, all of a sudden that's too late.
And talking of focus, look at Jesper Eriksson there, currently in P2, started P2 as well. He looks so calm and focused. It's definitely one of those tracks where you can get into a bit of a rhythm with, just accelerate, brake, get your line rather nicely. And it's sort of the micro margins that you're really looking at, just turning in the exact right amount, being so careful on the throttle. That is what you need to be doing. As we're saying, the tyre conservation could potentially be a big factor. If we go green for a long time, you're going to want to stay out, especially with the stage coming at lap 100. We're already a quarter of the way through that.
Yeah, it's so imperative to keep those tires fresh. I just don't know how often, we'll have issues come out. I mean, there's huge piles of cars. This is probably the biggest pack of them all racing in the top 10. And you could easily see a mistake coming at any given moment. You get loose coming off the exit. You try to yank that wheel to the left to keep it from hitting the wall coming out of turns 2 and 4. And then all of a sudden, you're in the fence with 5 other drivers saying, hey, what's up? Sorry I ended your day. So it's important to always think, hey, gotta be on the attack. But if you just sit back a little bit, don't mind being in 10th place instead of maybe 5th place over the course of this first green flag run, maybe you can see a little bit about what the tires can give. Come down pit road, see the numbers, and then maybe change your strategy from there.
Yeah, these guys in the top 10 are certainly fighting quite a lot. 58 has gone up into 5th place. Nieholm, that is. Gunnarsson actually making the way through up into that 5th place. As Blix was trying to get past them, and they go back around. The positions change so quickly around here. And of course, Broström still sitting on the back of them. He goes up the inside of the number 95 there. So they're sort of changing place. They're being quite aggressive. They're sort of just, I guess, trying to just fight each other, trying to slow each other down so much. But the top 3 of Ericsson, Hafedarsson, they've sat pretty nicely so far. Interesting different strategies between those drivers. There's the 71 still continuing to be on the inside of the number 95 as they continue their way round, but they can't seem to get down into that single file.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to conserve tires not being single file here. I mean, you think about it. Every time you're at a racetrack, on an oval, you're going to use some of that grip up, trying to make a move down the inside, when maybe running a bit higher is the best line, the best way to go. Here, you're running side by side for tons of left-hand turns, and that's just going to hurt you even more so. So you'll typically see lunges happen from far back, which can lead to mistakes.
Yeah, lunges are, they're the risky ones, to be honest, because maybe the person ahead doesn't see it coming necessarily. Always that 58 goes really wide there. That's a Nieholm, and couldn't take advantage of that. So the high line actually might be worth something around here, but once again, uses that high line. He goes slow mid-corner, but then gets the exit onto these straightaways. So definitely just some different lines going. They swap it around this time. The 42 goes high as these guys' teammate Blix potentially coming up the inside.
Yeah, Eric Blixt is right there. Linus Broström is here as well. The 42 went way high right there, Anton Omen, but it's going to give him a big run coming into turn 1 and 2. You know, I just don't know if he wanted to have that high of an apex where he reached his high point. Just maybe a piece of paper could have fit in between him and the wall. Right behind, Broström is making a move on Blix. It's going to slow both of them up here.
Oh, it certainly is. This is opportunities to try and slide underneath, but it's actually quite difficult to sort of lunge up on a couple of cars. You really spend so much time fighting with just the one so far, as I think we're going to be getting very close to some lapped runs. The number 25 there. So P25, I should say, almost elapsed there. Broström, the sole car on the low line as we come through turn 2 that time around. He's got the teammates on his out-time sister teammates of the 42 and the 95s are getting close to Nieholm. And the 71's actually done well there. He's got past Blix, but now can he get the 42 as well? He's going to have to work quite hard for that one.
So I'll tell you exactly what's happening here. Nieholm is struggling right now. His tires are a little bit worn. Look at the 42 trying everything he can to get just alongside Nieholm on the exit. Because he can't get to Nieholm's outside on the exit, it hampers his speed down the straightaway, which is really what you gain going up high here at Bristol in the corners. That allows Broström to be down the inside, and that's going to allow Linus to potentially pick up 3 positions within the last handful of laps here. He just needs 1 or 2 more corners to go to completely clear Nieholm. Once he does that, he can run up high against the wall. It's going to happen right here. Look, see? Now Nieholm is going to have to open up the inside. Because Broström went through, the rest are going to try and move it down the inside too, and Nieholm's going to have to change his line.
Yeah, it's crazy how you need like 5 or 6 laps to complete a move, because you just get, you know, inch by inch further ahead as the corners progress. But yeah, Broström doing a really good job to get past those 3 drivers. Got Holmer just in behind as well in that 10th place. But we are starting to see some gaps. The top 3 still within a second of each other, but they've got a whole second gap now back to Gunnarsson in that 4th place, with Salander following him another second back. So all sorts of things happening. I think we're getting to that stage where tyres are starting to wear. All 3 wide there. Coming through the first corner, and they try and find some space on the track. Broström now up into 5th place. Laps cars already getting involved.
Yeah, Salander is struggling right now. He is dropping like a rock in the number 40 machine. There was some contact between he and Broström just a lap or 2 ago. I mean, he was running in the top 5 pretty handedly, and now he is dropping back. You'll see more of that happen as this run goes on. This is about the point, 40 or so green flag laps on these tires, 45 maybe, where you're going to start to see, that's more closer to 40, you're going to start to see the tire wear become a major factor, a major issue. And also, we've got a potential wreck just in front of the leaders. Coming right back onto the track is the 013 of Marcus Stiller. Haraldson goes by. That could have been disastrous. Here is where the traffic and the sausage gets made here at Bristol.
Oh, that was very close there, but Eracingligan managed to hold on. Let's see how this one happened coming into turn 3 there. He's going okay as it stands so far. Maybe it's a little bit further down. Of course, drives just in behind, slowing down as well, but we're going to see how this is going to be working out. But maybe, okay, actually, we go back to live. This is live pictures, I have to say. So the drivers up towards the front are starting to swap around. Yes, Eracingligan, he's managed to get himself up towards the lead. The 24's dropped down to the third place. Oh, huge contact there. After Darson gets turned, one of the lapped cars there getting involved as we see contact between the leaders.
Haraldson was just pushed out of the way 1 lap earlier for the lead. He was trying to go in the middle of a 3-wide situation, and the 37 right in behind Jesper Eriksson, who is in the lead, was hit by Michael Haflidason in third. This is wild. Here is just before, so this is the pass for the lead. You see there was a little bit of bumper cars happening right there. This is where the 37 goes in front. Haflidason and Haraldson running side by side, sandwiched. The 59 had so much room up against the wall. He just has to stay up there.
Yeah, he definitely came down a few inches. Oh, the 70 was that Brostrom getting involved. 71, I think, with further contacts through turns 3 there. So not the ideal situation for them, and they're going to have to try and work back. They were running so well, those top 3. They had that absolutely covered. Unfortunately, the 81 getting turned, and that is going to bring out the second caution of the night here for the 3rd round of the season. I wonder how many we're going to see so far, as we are now 20% of the way through the race.
Having that long of a run is pretty much what we can hope for. Once you get lap cars involved, and once you get the sloppiness of trying to fight for the free pass, for being in that lucky dog spot, the first one a lap down, it's all bets are off, right? You, as the leader, you got to be so cautious, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do. As we see right now, some of these cars on the lead lap are going to come into the pits. Not all, though. Jesper Eriksson, Michael Haflidason, Alexander Haraldson, they stay out on track. Everybody else, for the most part, comes in for tires behind them. The top 3, yeah, they're going to save some tires, but they're going to be, these drivers are going to be out for lunch right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting one to see how these strategies are going to play out. Of course, you have the stage at the 100 lap break as well, so we still have 50 to go. And if we saw some drivers struggling already on the tyres after the first 50 laps, if they want to stay out, they're going to be really struggling. So the drivers are obviously pitting will have a massive pace advantage. There's the number 24, your previous race winner. That car is very, very bent at the front.
Now, this is interesting. Haraldson saw that everybody else behind him went into the pits for tires, and he said, you know what? I'll come into the pits, because he should have been into the pits right then and there. He's on the lead lap. He was scored in 3rd. There's no reason he should be coming in now instead of just making a mistake on strategy and not coming in the last time. He's going to be in the back of this lead pack unless he has so much damage that he decides to stay out and go a lap down, which might happen if he's not too careful.
Yeah, it's so easy to go a lap down. The pace car is pretty slow around here, so you could do sort of some repairs then you sort of go around, then come back in a little bit later, sort of thing, which might be what he tries to do. But lap 57 we're on, as the drivers are getting into formation. Yes, but Eriksson, by virtue of some lap traffic, now has the lead in the number 37. Did not pit, of course, as we're of course going to see the restart coming here very shortly. There's the 81 of Haflidason, who was turned, but actually is going to be getting out towards the front of the pack, at least coming to the restart. Second second caution of the night for the Håkan Schött. 250 as the pace truck comes in. We go back to green flag racing once again as Jesper Eriksson takes it underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Huge jump he's got to do this third restart of the night as he comes through the first couple of corners. Some of the drivers, remember, staying out. They're going to be struggling with the tyres. Fresh tyres coming in behind us. We're getting very wiggly already coming off turn 2.
Yeah, very wiggly for sure, and I'm telling you, these cars up front are going to be eaten up alive by the drivers who have new tires. I mean, 45, 50, 55 laps on those old tires, some under yellow flags, most under green. It's not going to be long before we see passes for the lead from the drivers in behind. Eriksson, Gunnarsson, they go side by side. They stayed out. Eric Blixt is right there.
Certainly is the Gunnarsson number 1. Of course, reigning champion takes the lead here at Bristol onto lap 60 of the race so far. Eriksson all goes slow, massive slide there from Blix round the outside. One of the cars, Ullman, tries to go around the outside. Contact is made. They continue straight on though. Homer is going to go through and jump up into that third place, but that was almost a huge crash. There's a huge run there from the 42 on the outside, lap down.
Yeah, that is a huge run right there. Anton Oman is going to go around the outside, move himself into P3. He is about to just chomp down on these drivers in front. Jesper Eriksson is the next one to look at this closing speed. It's not even close. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, massive pace advantage there. 42 round the outside as Gunnarsson, look at him, absolutely romping off into the distance. Ullman follows him through. 42, not a lap down, as I said just earlier. He's in that second place for sure. Here's Eriksson. Funny for Eriksson is the opposite of what happened to him in the last few laps of Kansas. He's now into that third place. Blix is in fourth as the pace is really starting to spread the field. Once again, Eriksson struggling there off turn 4. The 95 all the way around the outside. Blix goes.
You ever watch Jaws?
Is that the one with the dolphin?
The dolphin! I cannot believe you just...
Yeah, it's something about a shark in the sea.
No! Oh, that's going in the RaceSpot quotes channel for sure. It's the shark. Jaws.
Yeah.
You know the music? Dun-dun. Yeah, that's it. That's Anton Oman right now in the 42 chasing after the leader in Jonas Gunnarsson.
Yeah, that is definitely the ways. We've seen some of the pit stops, last pit stop lap around here, and only a few drivers there staying out, but look at how far Eriksson is dropping down. He had a great start. To go to caution, lap 68 comes around, third caution of the day, and let's try and see where this happened. One of the Bright Esports cars there up on the inside is Strömberg in the 64 machine, has obviously had some issues.
Yeah, and I think this was right in front of those leaders as well that I was talking about. We'll catch a replay right here, and I think, yeah, this was a weird looking incident. Marcus Strömberg right there in that 64 machine is swinging around the corner.
Oh.
He thought it was clear, and I think maybe the 44 came down a little bit off the wall because there was some space for Philip Bjork there. I don't know. That just seems like a sloppy incident. They're both not without too much damage.
Yeah, just a sort of combination of lines between the two, but definitely in 64 there coming up a little bit more probably than he could have avoided. There's one of the cars there getting their lap back. Lucky dog for them as we go to the third caution of the day. Lap 70 of 250, stage 1 coming up at lap 100, so almost there, 30 laps to go, just 15 miles of racing for that one. It's been to be honest, it's been the first or third of the race, or so just come up to a third of the race. I was expecting 3 cautions, and tyre strategies now coming into effect.
Yeah, tire strategy, I think already is definitely a big thing. I'm surprised that we haven't seen all the drivers, I don't think, come down for tires. Obviously, Jesper Eriksson dropped like a rock right there. He fell back into 8th by the time the caution happened, and he came down into to get fuel, fuel and tires, of course. That's what you need to make sure of. Once you got to that 60 lap or so point, you should have gotten tires. You've got the sets to spare. It's not a big deal if you use one now and just trying to get to the end later. But if there was a huge green flag run there, the drivers who did not pit, they would have been absolutely in the worst of ways.
And one thing I always think about with these situations is if there's a big pack of people doing something, you sort of want to be in with them. Whether it was the top 15 staying out or the top 15 pitting, you want to be in that group of cars. You sort of want to be in that same situation. When you're the situation that Ericsson was, where he was being absolutely bounced on by everyone coming in behind, that's where it starts to get tricky, because you are so slow, you can actually cause cautions and incidents from that. So you sort of have to play a bit of strategy there as well. Having said that, it did work for Ericsson at the previous race, doing something different. So maybe a little bit later in the race, but certainly at the early stages, not what you necessarily want to be doing. As other drivers there, they are getting into formation to go back for the fourth start or restart of the day. Looks like it's going to be the number 1 of Gunnarsson, 42 of Ullman on the front row at this restart. 3 cautions down so far. We're told we can get about 15 in the time limit, and as it goes, we are actually on track to not go past the time limit. All 250 laps should be done at this rate so far. We, of course, come back to the green flag race in the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan here for round number 3, as we work away all the way to Talladega to find out who's going to get themselves into the playoffs. But that's not till May. Here for now in Bristol, we go green flag racing once again for the Håkan Schött 250, as once again it's going to be the number 1 of Gunnarsson taking the lead all the way around the outside for the 42, but it's Blixt on the inside with a good start.
Yeah, a lot of discussions going on, though, over the in-race chat. Someone's not happy. Arnoldson getting loose there out of the corner. He almost completely lost it. So lots of drivers just trying to sort themselves out. Hopefully we get another 40-plus lap green flag round. That was fun.
Yeah, we'll see how that one works, because the tyre strategies as ever around a track like this is what we really are coming to see. How the drivers manage that when they pit, etc., is the very important factor. Some drivers, of course, still in the pit lane there with some damage repairs still being made, and the order is quite a lot different up towards the front. We've got the likes of other Ericsson, the number 35 there into the top 6 Schött, as well the sponsor of this race up there in P9 of Scotland inside the top 10. The drivers seem to be pretty single file up towards the front at the first of this restart, but we're not in the background. Almost 3 wide there coming out of turn 4.
Oh man, 3 wide at Bristol. You can do it, but you got to be careful, and it's so hard to transition from being in the corners to trying to go 3 wide down a straightaway, especially with cars of varying speeds and tire lives.
As they're moving all over the track to try and find some space. Different speeds being brought through for some of these drivers. I saw the 37. That is Ericsson there getting involved, as he obviously had his pit stop, but he's only dropped down to 12 place as such. So that's definitely quite a big, not the biggest loss in the world, but a lot of work to be getting back up towards front. This is such great onboard. Just see how hectic it is as you go. Caution once again, 4th of the day, but that was a great onboard to see Ericsson. You sort of surge up on the cars in the corners, and you come back, and I wonder what happened this time around. The 82 has had a spin there coming out of turn 2.
We'll see exactly what happened to other drivers potentially involved there. It might have just been a simple spin. Nothing too much happening. 82 crosses the line in the 1. You got the 22 right behind. Some contact. Ooh. And you already see cars slowed up there. So was that after the yellow was already...
Yeah, was that a secondary incident? So. Yeah, might have been for the 82 machine. Can happen. Always on here with Stiller. Yeah, he goes around already. I don't think there was contact. I think just lost the rear end there coming through turn 2.
No contact, really. Oh, yeah, there was contact with the 44. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, that looked a little bit too much grip loss on the rear, and so yeah, the 44 spinning around. Then, of course, his car's checking up, or not, in the case of the 22, and spinning the 82 machine as well. So just showing you how easy accidents can come, as we are getting actually pretty rapidly towards that stage of lap 100. 4 cautions down. I wonder if we're going to get any more after this next restart.
More cautions? You wonder if we'll have any more?
Oh, sorry. When, not if.
When? Oh my goodness. I don't know if we can show it, but I just checked the broadcast chat, Cam. I've I've used the power of AI generative fill to provide you with the poster for the movie Jaws that I think
the dolphin.
The dolphin.
I love that. I was thinking I can't say shark, like it's too obvious. Everyone knows that. Definitely a good night here at Bristol under the lights, third round of the season. Kind of the race we're expecting so far, Dylan. But so everyone, all the drivers know it's going to be like this coming in. How do you prepare for that, though? It's certainly one of the things you've got to just be on your toes and sort of take all the opportunities that come your way.
Yeah, it's a little bit about, just being an opportunistic driver. A lot of tracks will challenge drivers in different ways. Darlington's more technical. Super Speedway, it's about your tenacity to just keep going the entire way. Well, a short track like Bristol, it's quick reaction times and being able to work with a changing scene, which could, one lap be clean air, clean track in front. The next lap, you could be dealing with a 2 wide, 3 wide situation with lapped cars that are around half a second per lap slower than you, while you've got second place chasing. So it's very important to be able to be as malleable as ever here.
As ever, as the drivers grid up once again, coming back to green flag racing at the end of this one. And you're right, being versatile, being able to sort of deal with the fact that your strategy might get blown out the window any second with how easy it is around here to have an accident. We'll have to certainly see who is going to come out on top. Funny how the Alcantech cars always seem to end up at the front, though. They definitely have something special around here as we come back around turn 4, lap 85 of 250. Pace truck comes in and the Hawkinshaw 250 will get underway for the 5th time here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a good exit there from Gunnarsson, who gets back up to full gas as the drivers in behind try and find their way through. The 140 actually gets slowed down a bit by his teammate as Bix has to come up to block the 79.
Lots of contact in the first lap of green flag racing, but they all settle it out for now. Still cars getting loose off corner exit, but we see Anton Ullman is chasing Jonas Gunnarsson. Exactly what we saw just before we got under that caution period the last time around. Look at that, just intensity on Ullman's face. He sees the car in front. He wants, caution out again. And it's the 81 of Flittison I saw was involved, and it actually was because there was a spin just in front of him. We'll see in the replay. The 111 got involved at Brotberg.
Yeah, once again, secondary incidents coming your way. But yeah, for Omen there, he looked very calm, which is what we like to see. We don't need to see anyone pushing too hard necessarily at this stage. Is that the 5th caution of the night already coming out? Let's see what happens here. Coming through the first couple of corners, out onto the back straight away. Who's going to get all the 111? Just tags the back of the 18 there. We've got 37 Ericsson getting involved. They're all good so far, but Ericsson just tagging the back of the 111 as Hafer Darson there also gets involved too. Contacts. Not quite sure if the 111 came up a little bit there, because Ericsson was pretty close to that wall.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think the 111 for sure came up a little bit too much, and it was just a little bit side by side. That's those are ticky-tack moments that it's hard for, I guess, a virtual spotter to call. Where you're still side by side, but barely, or the momentum from a car in behind, the tendencies for the car to kind of pull maybe a little bit in behind running up top, but then that momentum will swing them back around on corner exit. You don't always get that with a virtual spotter, whether it's through iRacing, whether it's through crew chief. That's why sometimes in the real world, spotting is such a skill at a track like this, because you gotta be an octopus with 8 eyes. Look at that again. Sharks, dolphins, octopus, wild stuff.
I definitely wouldn't want to be a spotter in real life, to be honest, because not only do you have to be fast, but you have to be decisive with what you say. You have to be so sort of perfect and correct with what you say. You've got to be obviously reacting straight away, and also predictive as well. You've got to be seeing something coming up. Is certainly a huge skill and a lot of trust between the drivers and their spotters. And as you say, a lot of them using the automated systems, but maybe not 100% perfect as we go to lap 92 of 250. We're getting very close to that stage. Are we going to finish the stage under caution, or can we go green flag? That is what we will soon be finding out. But it's the number 1 of Gunnarsson is leading the way so far from the 42 of Ullman. They've been up the front for quite a while. They've got their teammate behind of Blix for your top 3.
I see a comment in the chat saying, I will be gobsmacked if we don't have at least 5 more cautions. I'd be gobsmacked if we don't have 10 more cautions.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're getting closer to that 15 mark than I was hoping at this stage of the race. And you all know what happens in the final 50 laps as well. Everyone goes a little bit more crazy. There's 71 of Brustrom running up towards the front in that opening green flag stage. He's going to come out as the drivers were just, I think, getting into formation to come back to green flag racing. So Brustrom there just about staying on that lead lap. Just needs to stay calm and try and work out how he's going to get himself back up to the front. But certainly a tough period of the race for the drivers to get through this middle sort of 100 laps or so. It will certainly be a critical one for how this race is going to finish. But once again, for the 6th time today, we come to a restart, and Gunnarsson will have that inside line and take it away from his teammate, the 42 machine on the outside. Look for some of the cars in behind, trying to get a run, trying to get some positions. We come back to green flag racing once again here at Bristol. The number 1 machine goes to the gas, and we are fighting once more here in the bowl. Let's go. Loads of cars going side by side, going up way high, trying to get their run out onto the back straight.
Anton Oman clears Eric Blixt, and there's a car into the wall. Eric Lundberg got himself up into that outside wall. 24 of Arnoldson was thinking about going down 3 wide, pulls out of the move and decides against it. All these drivers still fighting for positions, trying to maintain or gain here off the restart.
One thing that is quite important to note is even the drivers who've got involved in things, 24, etc., they're not actually that far off the front pack. So sometimes it's not necessarily bad to be aggressive as long as you can stay on that lead lap. The 37 of Ericsson is starting to make some move. He's battling with Nyholm for P7 up towards the front. Oh, big slide there from Holmer as he tries to battle there with both the Ericssons now in behind him. But of course, you've got Salander in the 140 just in front of him. Side by side, we come down the number 58 machine there of Nyholm trying to get Ericsson up the inside of turn 4, and he's managed to make it stick.
Oh man, thinking about 3 wide for the 37. These drivers are impatient, and I mean, you've seen how few cautions or how few green flag laps we've had lately, and how many cautions we've had. They want to make the moves under green as quickly as they can, so that these aggression levels, it's going to go higher. Jesper Eriksson making moves right now in that 37 down the outside or around the outside of Daniel Holmer for a top 5 spot. He's going to clear him. He's going fast. Ericsson, remember, is on fresher tires than most of the field. It's an opposite. It's a switch of what we saw. Maybe not as extreme as the 140 got really loose in front. But lap 100, it's the end of that first stage. We're going to stay under green here. Of course, stage points so important in this championship.
Yeah, the top 10 get from 10 down to 1 place, and it's going to be Gunnarsson taking those 10 points from Urman Blix and Salander there getting your top 4. Ericsson will get that P5 at the stage break, but we remain green, of course, as Ericsson continues his charge up towards the front as he gets up in the inside of P4. That's going to be, but he's going to have a few laps to get that run, to get the track position, but actually he's going to really fight for it all the way down to the apron. The 140 comes close to him. Nice batting, nice racing between the pair.
140 is doing exactly what he should, just pinches the 37 down. 37 cannot get clean track, cannot get good traction without coming up a little bit through the corners, I think, and maybe 1 or 2 corners he's going to be able to do it. Almost did it there. Salander was just down the outside, barely, still sticking on that quarter panel. This is a great battle.
Oh, really is awesome fighting. I think the 37s just finished that one off, but that was about 5-6 laps. They had to really try and just get everything so far. Gap's opening up ahead by about 1.5 seconds to Blix as the top 3 Alcantech cars are battling. Hafnadars in the 81 machine, he's working his way up. Of course, he was involved in some of the incidents earlier as well, just showing you can stay in this race, but you've got to be having some speed. Got to be aggressive, and that's what he's sort of done to get himself back up those positions. But look at all the drivers in behind. mind, can't make one mistake around here, otherwise you're losing multiple places.
You can make one mistake, just hope that everybody else makes at least one mistake as well. So your net mistakes has to be 0 compared to the average of the rest of the field. How about that?
That's a good way to put it. As a 79 is really struggling. 81 drives completely around the outside. Has that move also on the 140 as well. Haflidarsson there making moves, obviously on much fresher tyres, completely driving past those cars as if they were standing still.
Yeah, and at Bristol Motor Speedway, cars standing still typically means wreck is happening. Right now, we're seeing the 42 not battling for the lead at the moment, as Jonas Gunnarsson has pulled to within, I guess you could say, 5 car lengths in front. But he's starting to deal with that lap traffic. The battle, it's not even just a battle for second, actually, now, as you see that lap traffic get involved. This is now a 3-way fight for the lead. Ullman in second, Blixt in third, Gunnarsson currently at the point. Look at that. 5 car lengths gone in a matter of 1 lapped car.
Amazing stuff. And I wonder though if there's going to be, because we have actually been on these tyres for quite a while now. Of course, we've had about 3 or 4 cautions on them, but certainly a decent amount of racing as well. I wonder when that tyre sort of wear is really going to start affecting them so much that we're going to see a big difference in the speed of these drivers. So far, the top 3 are pretty consistent on their speed, just 4 tenths of a second separating them. They've got a bit of a gap to Ericsson in behind, who's trying to close down the battle. You can just see him there off the exit of turn 4. That black car is trying to get close, but it's going to be a little bit difficult to this part of the race. But certainly with the fresh tyres, he should be able to close them down.
Cam, you bring up a really interesting point with the length of these tires and the tire wear that we'll soon start to see as Blixt makes a move down the inside of Ullman. Is Ullman, yeah, he's not even going to challenge there on the outside. Just 1-2 corners and makes a move right there for Blixt. He's flying. But these caution periods, not only are you not using the tires under race conditions, you're also giving the tires time to cool off and get a little bit off racing temperature. That means when they get back to racing, it's going to take a little bit for them to start to shed off that rubber, to lay it down on the track, for it to get hot to those racing speeds, those racing conditions, which extends the life of the tire even more than just, not going fast, not kind of stressing them. Speaking about stressing,
Oh, yeah, 79 there, making some contact. Salandra in the 140 goes up high. Ericsson in 35 machine, bit more contact between the two as they come out of turn 4. The 24 is still trying to come on his comeback around the outside. There's Ericsson starting from your pole position a little bit earlier. The 140 seems to have got the gap, though. Now it's the 24 around the outside. It's going to be of Ericsson. Look at that massive dent in the front of that machine, but it's not stopping him as he gets himself up a position there. Awesome battles here. Definitely a lot of difference in tyre life, I think, on screen.
Tires in racing, they have a lifetime to them. They'll start to go, they'll be really good, they'll start to kind of go down in wear rate and actual speed, but at one point, at a particular moment, Cam, and I don't care if this is oval racing, I don't care if this is Formula 1, if this is any open wheel racing, sports car, GT, doesn't matter, there's a cliff. Once you hit a certain point where the rubber has come down as much as it has, your performance is basically zero. Oh, we go 3 wide, by the way, between Arlton. I wasn't looking at our production feed. That's my bad. Oh, there's a wreck.
Oh, and just as you hear the wreck, the 37 gets around the 42 for the pole, for the pole position, for the podium positions, as it is Håkan Schött, the sponsor of today's race. Håkan Schött 250. He goes into the fence there in the 101 machine for the picked last by Bright Esports. Definitely not picked last, but he might be in last place for this one. Let's see how this happened. He's coming in behind the 24. He's looking all good for now. Is there going to be any contact a little bit further up? That is coming through turns 2.
I'm like, 3 wide. Oh, wait a second. Production. I'm sorry, not looking at the production feed. There's a wreck.
It's at the 111 again. Contact with Ericsson in the 37 in a very similar way, but this time with the 101 who goes up into the fence. So is that 6th caution now that we are onto? And as we do that, it'll be a good time to hear some messages from our sponsors. All the leaders come into pit road.
Behöver du en bil? Mabi hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabi hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Hos Bright Esports i Västerås kan du testa på både Nascar och olika formulabilar, precis som Svenska Eracingligan deltagare. Gå in på brightesports.com och boka just din tid.
Now, welcome back to Bristol, Tennessee for the third round of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan for the 23-24 season. We've had an awesome start to the season so far, from Daytona to Kansas and now to Bristol. 250 laps, and we have just gone over the half race distance as we're on to our sixth caution of the night. Myself, Cam Roger, we got Dylan Coyle alongside me in the commentary booth, and Joshua Lee on production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. We're going back to the green flag with the Håkan Schött 250 here at Bristol. Of course, the laps go by very quickly, and because of that, we're seeing quite a lot of sort of different pit stop strategies. Erling has stayed out. The 82 machine, he was involved in one of the cautions a little bit earlier, but he's got massively older tyres, 70 lap older tyres than Gunnarsson and everyone else behind who pit under that caution.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, Chief. This is not going to go well for Erling as Gunnarsson goes around the outside in the second, Blix and Jesper Eriksson fighting for third right now. Gunnarsson got massively tight through 3 and 4 and slows it down a little bit, but oh man, Robert Erling, is lucky because there's a caution that's come out, and I think it's the 140. Oh, an ARCA brakes going into the corner. Just come on.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
Man, gotta slow it down.
Yeah, the 58 involved in that. The 140 and the 58, both running up inside the top 10 for pretty much the whole first half of the race. But now they have gone around and need to try and obviously keep themselves on that lead lap. Let's go to the seventh caution of the day. Here's how it happened. The 48, so the 58 there, the back of the shot. But the 140 is on the left-hand side of the screen. Is he going to be pinched there by the 18s? Is there going to be contact with the 35? Oh, the classic contact out of turn 4. We've seen that 3 or 4 times today. Just coming up onto the line, making contact as the 83 got involved too.
Should I say it?
Oh man. Huge. Oh, Joshua Lee in our ears on production saying, hit the brakes.
I mean, absolutely. He's right, though. There have been way too many times in this race alone that drivers have just come in flying way after the caution is already waved. If the caution is waving, back her down. Like, try to find the first spot you can to slow it down. Not doing that is not only a disservice to you because you're going to have a race ender potentially, but you're hurting a multitude of other drivers in the field. ARCA brakes is the whole joke about the fact that primarily in ARCA races, in the real world, you see drivers still learning that themselves, where they have to apply the brakes, but they usually don't. They come flying in. I mean, that's a very... Generalizing is not fair, but there are specific instances where that has happened, hence ARCA brakes. Slow it down once the caution is out. Don't put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I guess, and in some ways there's also a thing of not slamming on the brakes either. There's got to be that middle ground so that everyone can just slow down nicely. Yeah, so just got to get it into a nice place. Certainly it is difficult as well, but sometimes you do see some things a little bit silly. So that has given Erling the 82 not necessarily a free pit stop, but of course the pace truck basically goes at the pit road speed limit anyway, so you don't actually lose so much time by pitting. So I don't know if that's overall sort of helped his day or such, but he's certainly got a lead lap, which you do get a bonus point for.
You get a lot of bonus points in this series for multiple things. The one thing we have going against us is the fact that I have not been able to translate the rule book completely yet. I can see words and
in the in the calendar chat on the Discord, there is one of the images does have the points, and again it's in Swedish, but I'm pretty sure it's one for pole position, one for fastest lap, 2 for leading a lap, and 2 for the most laps led in the race as well. So in theory, that's 6 extra points you can get from a race, which is 50 points for a race win, going down to 45 and then 44, 43 and so on, 1 point per position. So of course the points somewhat simple but somewhat complicated as well. With so many points on offer, actually, we'll pretty much leave it to the admins to work out those standings, of course, until we get to Talladega. We'll then sort of see what is going to happen, but we're formatting, is that a word, once again, for another restart here for the what's this, about the 7th time we're going back to green flag racing. We're over half distance though here at Bristol, and at this rate we should still be finishing under the lap count and not going to the 1 hour and 40 time limit. We've got Gunnarsson there on that front row with Blixt alongside him. Jesper Eriksson at 37, he gets a good run actually from that 3rd place, should be able to jump up to 2nd on the inside line as Gunnarsson comes down as well. And look at all those Alcantech cars up inside the top 5.
Notably, Robert Erling went into the pits, so no longer is there a driver with extremely worn tires at the front of this field. Jonas Gunnarsson has not won this season yet in its 3rd race, but the 2 drivers that have won, Eriksson and Blixt, 2nd and 3rd.
Eriksson's doing a really good job. Of course, he was up in this position, he even led the race at one point, but then of course dropped back with a slightly different tyre strategy, and it seems to be working out. He's worked his way up slowly, was down about 12th place at one point, and now up into P2 and is looking really, really racy. Blickstone at 95, as we saw, seems to have some really good racecraft, especially back in Daytona with his teammate Dan Solo, who unfortunately has dropped way down P18. 2 laps down he is at this moment in time. 1:14 to go here at Bristol.
You know, we're halfway through cars on the lead lap as well.
That's a scary one as well when you start getting those laps cars in. There's another one there on the inside down the back stretch. Got to be careful there on the inside. Of course, loads of drivers like taking that inside for defending their positions. There's the white car of the number 24 machine.
Yikes.
Eriksson, of course, leading the way from that pole position, but he's dropped down after being involved in one of those battles and one of those cautions early in the race.
You know, I was at the 2020 Fall Bristol NASCAR Cup Series race, and there was a green flag caution period, or green flag caution period is an oxymoron. There was a green flag pit cycle going on, and then there was a caution in the middle of the cycle. I believe Austin Dillon was involved in some way, and William Byron as well. And only 6 drivers, because when you go into the pits here, with the dual pit stop, the dual pit lane setup, you're probably losing 2 laps, if not 3 laps. So when the caution came out, everyone was at least 2 laps down except for 6 drivers. We went back to green flag racing with around 80 laps to go in the Cup Series race, and be careful. There were only 6 drivers that were on that lead lap the rest of the way.
That is, wow, that's pretty crazy. But then I guess that is one reason to try and go long in your stints in some ways, but also on the other hand, you do want to sort of push and get up the order. But sometimes the luck of the gods with the cautions does come your ways. We're 107 to go now. Gunnarsson still leading from Eriksson, Blixt. Haflidarsson, number 81, he was running out towards the front early. He's got himself back up into that 4th place. Ullman, who's been up the front all day, is in your 5th. Holmer Arvidsson there inside your top 7 with Lundberg, Skoglund and Stiller inside your top 10. Still in the 013. He was one of the drivers in one of the cautions a bit early on. Got himself up inside the top 10, just showing you can keep on going. Everyone is actually running pretty single file at this point in the race. It seems like everyone has sort of worked themselves out into their speed order, but now we're getting some lap traffic coming up ahead of some of these leaders.
Yeah, this lap traffic comes up quickly, especially the longer into the race we go, because cars are dealing with differing, car conditions, differing strategies. It's not just like we're going straight off the drop of the green flag at lap 0. We're coming to the point where, we've seen aggression levels be at the levels we've seen that they're high. We're going to start to see them be even more desperate as well.
So on screen in the middle, the black car of the 37, that is Jesper Eriksson. He's chasing down the white and purple number 1 machine there of Gunnarsson. That is your lead battle. But look at all these cars they're trying to get through. Any one of these lap cars getting in the way at the wrong point could mean the lead is lost for Gunnarsson. As we mentioned, there is these extra points for most laps led as well, so there is some incentive to try and stay out the front. Eriksson has been running up towards the front all day though, and after looking very good in Kansas, and also was actually looking looking good in our road series that we started last week with the Formula 4s. That's going to be continuing on the week gaps in between from now until November. So do check that one out next week when we go racing once again in the road course series. Ericsson winning 2 of the races last Thursday, but this Thursday he's coming for the lead here in Bristol.
Coming for the lead now. This is a good battle. Gunnarsson, Ericsson, Blix. They've been the 3 fastest cars, at least on the short runs in this race. We haven't really seen a long run, and I don't think we will see one, but we see Ericsson go down the inside. Of course, the outside's going to have that bigger run, but it seems like Ericsson was better until he hit the apron there and has to fall back in line. This is going to be a good battle.
Yeah, certainly is. He had a bit of a run, but couldn't quite make it through. As we're now into the final 100 laps here of the Håkan Schött 250 at Bristol, running right up to the wall there in turn 2, getting very, very close. He's definitely got more speed, but just potentially not enough at this moment in time, trying to come down, use that momentum from the gravity as such down the banking. Now it's going to be the inside line for Ericsson. He's really having to work for this one, but Gunnarsson defending well.
Great battling here. More lap traffic. You're going to have to negotiate your way through. Good job by the 65 machine to get out of way. That was Dan Segelson to not affect this lead battle. This battle is also kind of allowing Eric Blix to decide what he wants to do. If he wants to conserve these tires, he can relax without having to worry about these two just flying away from them. I mean, 2 seconds back from this pack is also Haflidason and Anton Ullman, so who knows what will happen here if we get a decent run. There's fewer cars in this race than before, but a lot of drivers staying out that are 20-plus laps down, lots of laps down, just to pick up points from other people's misfortunes.
Yeah, staying out and keeping clean. And at this point in the race, where it seems to be pretty spread out, this is actually potentially the point where you want to have those calm sort of 20 laps or so under your belt. And let's see what happens, of course. Next pit stop can obviously get to the end of the race in terms of the fuel, but in terms of the tyres, that next pit stop is going to be very, very crucial with your speed to the end of this race. As it stands, Gunnarsson, he's got enough to hold on to Ericsson at this point in the race, but surely at some point him with his the lines that is being used to defend, maybe he's going to be struggling with that one. Ericsson really liking this low line, but Gunnarsson loving that outside line to defend.
You know, with the traffic coming up and Blix being right there as well, the cars are fighting for position, and they can continue to do that at the tail end of the lead lap, or, you know, if they're on the same lap down that, you know, their competitor is. We see this top three under a blanket right now. You see that battle for first. But here's the thing, Cam. You can choose whatever line you want to do if you're battling without having much regard for cars on that lead lap, the leaders. If you want to be nice and let them go, sure. You don't have to. That's the difference between road racing and oval racing.
Yeah, that's a very good point as well. But most of them are being quite nice, getting out of the way. There's 44 going high. Although these drives getting out of the way can actually be more confusing sometimes because you're not necessarily sure exactly where they're going to go. Blix did catch up there for just a little bit, but he's lost a few car lengths as the 1 and 37 still go. Tooth and nail, actually, for this really nice racing, actually, that's coming out of this one. Close once again for Jesper Ericsson. He's really trying to get through, going on all sorts of different lines, but doesn't quite have that extra bit of grip that he needs. Maybe some traffic can help him though. Gunnarsson can't go up high this time around. They got a car who's at the 64 machine. He's one of the ones who spun around a little bit earlier. A bit of a block almost from the 79 machine as well. Can Ericsson get that run? Get the launch up the inside? Yes, he can. The one gets blocked, and to the lead goes to 37.
Exactly what happens when lap cars get involved. They start to affect the outcome of this race, whether it's, you know, of their own accord or not. He was just trying to pick the high line. And when there's two cars going side by side right behind, there's not much you can do. Actually, it was kind of naughty from the one to just put the 78 way up into the wall. Jonas For's 39 laps down. That was, you know, a little rude. But look at all the cars in front as well. This is going to get ugly real quick.
Yeah, get that short track racing gif out there for this style of stuff. But that can happen so easy. Is Ericsson going to start pulling away now? He's got that half-second gap, and I did think he was really the faster driver at the front, but Gunnarsson was doing such a good job. I mean, to be honest, a perfect job in defending. He held on for a good 15 laps there of hard attack from Jesper Ericsson. We're now seeing all the Alcantech cars line up as we're getting Haflidarsson on the back. Got Ullman there inside the top 5 as well, who started to pull away from Homer in 6th.
So the fact that we have the top 4 drivers fighting this close for the lead is pretty awesome. This is just good racing. This is fun. Jesper Ericsson, though, he's saying thank you to these lap cars. Let me owe you a present. Let me give you a gift here. I'll give you a nice little kiss after the race, you know, just a thanks. With cars.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult one here. So, look at all this traffic getting in the way, really slowing them down. And what it's actually stopping is these drivers go onto that high line, which we've seen being so powerful. And actually, is at the 12 there making some moves as well in the lap traffic while they're trying to let the leaders through. Very opportunistic there in their own battles that they're having, of course. We say laps down, but some of these drivers going laps down are still well within the top points. We're now lapped down to P15. So yeah, very sort of spread out field that we've got after quite a long green flag run so far, and a lot of cautions. About 7 cautions we've got, as we've got 77 to go.
So here's the battle we're about to really see heat up, and this is going to be the most difficult cars to lap at this current moment if you're Jesper Ericsson. You see those 5 cars ahead of Ericsson? If we check out that view, great battle going on between Haflidarsson, Blix, Gunnarsson. It's just been awesome. Anton Ullman as well as Daniel Holmer have inserted themselves into this battle for second. But just in front of Ericsson are the 3 cars, 12th, 13th, and 14th, on the lead lap. Once they go a lap down, I mean, this is a fight for the free pass. You know there's going to be some carnage somewhere, as we see Gunnarsson still holding that position. A swap over move. Blix goes down low. This is great action, Cam.
Yeah, awesome parts of the race here as we come into the final third, and it seems to be all action. Everyone is trying to find their way through. The high line being used now this time around, as we've got 5 drivers all battling for these top level positions. Ericsson has gone up the way, but the battle for P2 is very important indeed. There's the purple car of the number 1. That is Gunnarsson. Around the outside is going to be Haflidarsson to take that 3rd place around the outside of the 95 machine. The 42 is up right in the wall. 3 wide we go. Out onto the back stretch as there's a lap car getting involved there. Also thing happened. The 79 of Holmer has actually jumped up there from Allman as well.
Cam, this is what Bristol's like. I know we talked about this being your first Bristol race. This is what makes Bristol amazing. It's the traffic.
All 3 wide once again into turn 3 there. Very close, but they somehow all come out as Gunnarsson's really dropped back here. The 24 of Arvidsson, who was way back in the pack, he's now got past. The number 1 is dropping like a stone, 3 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, Jonas Gunnarsson, I think those tires are shot. Just needs one more set of tires. Most of these drivers, I think, have 2 sets of tires remaining. If you were being a little bit adventurous in the beginning, you might have had to use another one, which would only give you 1 to go. So if caution came out now and you only have 1 set remaining, you'd have to pit if you're struggling. But in that case, you'd have to conserve a little bit over the last stint of the race. This is getting interesting. Omen is losing ground to Arlson, who has just been flying through the field. Daniel Holmer trying to make a move on Eric Blix. Haflidarsson, though, has gotten himself a half-second in front of 3rd place.
Awesome stuff. He's getting so close, and the drivers are really starting to fight for these positions. Surely at some point there's going to be another caution. There's going to be pit stops at that time, and everyone being neutralized at that point. So if you have an advantage at this point in the race, you certainly want to use it. The 24 goes low off turn 3. 1 car is up into the barrier there, and that is not what you want to be doing. One of the lapped cars there. So as it stands, we've got Ericsson, Haflidarsson, and Blix, your top 3, with Holmer in behind with Ullman, and then this battle that we're seeing as well with the 24 as they get so close between the 2. It's all change up towards the front.
So we're about to see the top 10 being on the lead lap and everybody else not being on the lead lap.
Insane how it's spread out.
Unbelievable. I mean, everyone on the lead lap is pretty much going to be the drivers that have a chance to still win this race by the end of it. You could come into a situation where a caution comes out. You're in the lead lap. You don't have to get tires, but you're like, why not? I'm only going to go back 4 rows.
Yeah, that is a pretty crazy one, actually, and that might change the strategic positions when we get to the final pit stop, because the drivers will be taking the final pit stop at some point. Just need to see exactly how this race is going to work out. 63 to go, so we've had almost 200 laps already of this race. 79 gets a decent run there of turn 4, not enough to dive down the inside. Homer's slowly been making some moves, actually, in this race, and once again, up the inside onto turn 3. No, not enough, but he's really trying to find a run.
Trying to find a run. He's still trying, though. I think he's got to make the move now, because there's a big group of cars right in front. Oh, that are wrecking! Is it the 111 again? Did we stay green? No, it wasn't the 111. It was a teammate. Ends up being Dennis Sharp, who gets involved. Oh, man, that's just bad.
Was that the leader, the 37? The contact there with the 11, and might have just well have been, as Bjork is into the pit lane. We, of course, stay green flag racing, no spinners around, but Homer's got himself onto P3. No, he hasn't just yet. Blix comes back around the outside, but Homer has the track position now out of turn 4. Once again, the outside line is so good. You get the run down the straightaways.
So I was saying he was going to have to make that move. He gets it now. He was going to have to make it before he got to that pack. Obviously, that lap car situation kind of got interesting, but if he was still side by side by the time they get to the pack, they would have been beholden to whatever those cars decide to do. If you had a faster car in front, then you'd maybe go the low line, but if the higher line was moving, then Homer would have been in a bad situation. Blix would have been able to go with that high line, because that was what he was running. Blix is starting to fall back a bit. Homer is making the most of it. Jesper Eriksson has gapped himself from Michael Haflidason to just around 2 seconds at this point, 1.7 seconds, while Daniel Homer is a further half second back. Blix dropping Alexander Arnoldson goes by. Man, we've got 56 laps to go.
So a lot of those Alcantech cars are at the front. The previous few cautions, they're starting to drop back. The 42, the 95, the number 1, they've all dropped outside that top 3. They're now 5th, 6th, and 8th. Just showing you how the tyre wear and things like that can be a big factor, because they're all on pretty similar tyres, actually. The only one there is Brostrom, who's got a couple laps older, but Brostrom's actually got past Gunnarsson as well. So maybe the Alcantech car's struggling with the tyre wear on these long green flag runs.
Do you feel the intensity?
Oh, absolutely. The racing is fantastic so far, as we're getting very close to 50 laps to go here at Bristol. Yeah, absolutely enjoying this one.
Man, this is great racing. It's exactly what we hope for when we get to Bristol. Differing strategies, cars coming on late. Ericsson might be up by 2 seconds right now, but that can go away in an instant. And if this stays green the rest of the way, which no one expects it to do and no one expected it to do, then drivers like Ericsson are going to be struggling because of this tire wear. It's going to be a battle of who slides the least.
Yeah, we're getting very long into this tyre life as well. Yeah, what's it going to be? About 80 odd laps we've been on these tyres so far, and we have had a few cautions in there, but still a long way. Aronson here in the 24 has been working his way out one more place and be back onto the podium. Of course, your pole position driver led the way for the first green flag period, but unfortunately dropped back after a spin and some contact there a little bit earlier. And look at the two cars ahead of him. He's got Homer in third place, Haflidason there. Round the outside is going to be for the 24, trying to find a run.
Trying to. Oh, we're going 3 wide. Potentially for the lead as well. The 24 trying to make a move on Haflidason. Oh, up into the wall! That's some big contact right there. Arnoldson, no stranger to contact in this race. He'll keep it moving. He'll try to make a pass, but he's still got lap traffic in front. Oh, man, that's just getting involved in an unnecessary way. 65 pushed up into the wall. A lot of mystery machines going up to that wall today.
Yeah, that team definitely in the wars so far. As the 24 is really blocked off there. That gives Holmer run once again. But look how much speed the 24's got compared to the 81 around the outside. Is going to be, should have the run on the straightaway, but he's got the grip in the corners as well. So it's going to be second place there for the number 24. So that's back up to Ericsson in the number P1 and 2 so far. As the 81 gets a bad run, Holmer around the outside this time.
Yeah, he's about to catch up to 3 mystery machines as well, which could be interesting. You see the 35 on the outside of the 79 and the 81, so they get by him. But now 2 of them are fighting just in front of Arnoldson. That's Carlin and as well as Schött. 2 laps down as well as 10 laps down. Schött goes up against the wall. Will swing it down just a little bit, but keep it up as much as he can. Now it's just Carlin they've got to negotiate at this point. I have a feeling that Arnoldson and Holmer and the rest of them are saying, can we just not see them as Arnoldson gets loose? I think Carlin was coming down and trying to cut him off there.
Yeah, his line is really being hindered at this point for that 24 machine. He's got to go low here, but then the issue is he's got so much more grip. He's getting the run out of the corners, but he can't come up as you naturally would want to because he's being blocked by that car. 42 laps to go. Ericsson's got a 3-second lead, but then there's this battle with Arnoldson and Holmer in that green machine. And now here's Haflerdarsson in the 81, just slightly off the back of them. We're starting to see some big sort of movers actually dropping out. We're now into the top 8 only on the lead lap as Gunnarsson is almost 10 seconds off. He's slowly getting there to going 1 lap down, who actually led to the restart of this green flag run that we're seeing.
This might be a little bit cynical, but if you're Carlin, stop trying to race them on the outside. He just got out of the way, but he almost got loose on an exit and he put himself into the wall trying to race hard. Don't affect the lead lap battle when you're 10 laps down. Just let him go and keep running your race. You're just trying to pick up positions from others' misfortunes. Don't cause misfortunes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. You just want to sort of get yourself out of the way. What have you seen?
Marcus Stiller just in front of the 24 and completely took away his line. That allows the 79 of Holmer to come in, and Arnoldson's pitting in. This is green flag pit stops. Is that what we're seeing?
I guess, well, if you're out fuel, you're out fuel. You don't have too much choice on that one. But if there's a caution now, or a caution in a few laps' time, this is going to be big issues net for the 24. And maybe this is the fuel tank. Maybe this is where everyone got to after pitting many cautions ago now.
You know what? You're absolutely right. We're looking back at this as being maybe an 80 lap run, which would get you 40 miles, but with all the start and stops and the yellow flag here, yellow flag there, I'll have to figure this out. Let me get back to you here on this fuel run.
Yeah, I guess it also depends if they... I guess you would fill the car fully, though. But maybe they didn't because of where they were on the lead lap or something like that. You might take out some fuel. Something like that might be under the way. Or maybe it is just that they realise they're going to need to pit to the end and they want to pit early, potentially, to get some sort of undercut. We'll have to see. But that all depends if it stays green flag. If it goes caution very soon, then that is going to change everything so far. Here's the black and red machine, the Bohlin's car, of the 37 of Jesper Eriksson, the winner of the previous race at Kansas, leading the way by now 4 seconds, and we only have 7 cars now on the lead lap. Such is the way of the half mile here at Bristol.
So it took around 90 or so laps for Arnoldson to come back down into the pits. Now, a reminder to everyone as Arnoldson's going for a spin. Oh no! Comes out of the pits and got again with Segelson, the 65.
Brings out the 8th caution of the day, and this might hinder him. We were just talking about cautions because he's of course a couple laps down now, goes up the inside there. That is actually all good so far. A little bit later, got the 82 machine up headers. Oh, it's the 65 cuts
it's
down
going straight. Like, that's my thing. The 24, was coming down a bit, but the 65 didn't turn.
Yeah, those cars, unfortunately, the 11, the 11, the 65, they've been involved in a lot of the lapped incidents that we've seen so far. 32 to go here at Bristol. Surely loads of drivers will be jumping down into pit road when it opens, and it's going to be all sorts of change. The 24 there of Ericsson especially losing a lot of time, and here they come, at least 37 Ericsson dropping down onto pit road.
Yeah, poor Arlson. That's going to destroy any chance of him winning this race. It's done for him. He's multiple laps back. He's involved in that incident. He pitted, and then was the cause for the caution. Maybe not, his fault for why the yellow came out. But he was the one that spun, and unfortunately, he will not win today at Bristol Motor Speedway. Jesper Ericsson will come out with the lead of this race after he pits. I mean, he's so far ahead, and you can't jump ahead of other cars when you're coming into the pits. You kind of have to go with the gaps that you've got. If there's cars in front of you can't just jump in front of them. So Ericsson's got like 5-7 seconds of cushion here to come back out with the lead of this race. Does exactly that. We see everybody else is coming out of the pits right now. Daniel Holmer will come out second. Third, Michael Hoflidison, and Eric Blixt in fourth. Are we shocked? Broström stays in, though.
Yeah, the order's going to be all sorts of swapped around. Staying out here, potentially an interesting call. 30 to go. Do we have the fuel to the end?
I think so. I do think so.
But then the tyres, I mean, what we've seen on all of the restarts, the people on older tyres just get absolutely eaten up.
Here's my thing. If you're on the lead lap and you didn't go into the pits right there for tires, for fuel, whatever you needed, even if you had 10 laps used on tires, you're about to face the wrath of God, is what I'm saying. Because there's only 8, like you said, there's only 8 cars, at least from what I'm seeing on the lead lap, maybe 7 cars on the lead lap. If you pit, you go back 3 rows, man. Go into the pits.
Yeah, that's especially what we saw at for Ericsson at Kansas. This was about the time where he pit with a decent way to go should it stay green. But he pit, it went green to the end, and he had the fresh tyres. He managed to come through and take victory. Is it going to work this time around as they all try and work their way, of course, into the order behind the pace car? Lapped runners getting out of the way. And that's Hafadarsson in the 81 machine, currently third place, as he's, of course, trying to prepare himself for this next restart. The drivers lining up in behind. It's all change up towards the front. Ericsson should still be leading the way. He's got Holmer in beside him as we go for the 8-3 start of the night. 27 to go. We'll be at the line. Green flag racing. It should be flat out to the end here. Tyres and fuel shouldn't be a problem for anyone. They just got to go and get those positions. Hafadarsson there in that second place. We've got Blixt in fourth. We've got Gunnarsson getting back up. And caution straight away. Hopefully.
There's a big mess. There's a big mess. And just cars not being able to handle themselves. Coming down low off corner exit and collecting other cars. Oh, man. Here's the replay. What did I say? This track brings out the most hums, and what are you doing out of any track? I mean, maybe a little bit of netcode, but you're running that close anyway. You're coming off the wall that far if you're the 41. You know?
Yeah, 41 come down, 49 going up. Further contact there for the 44. Not slowing down quick enough. Bit of carnage there here at Bristol, just showing you how difficult it is. Here is Philip Bjork in the 44. And
not again.
Yeah, once again, Josh Lee from the background hit the brakes, which is a very good way of putting it. Just coming in way too fast there.
Nothing makes me madder than seeing drivers come into a scene and say, hey, I'm here. Woo, come here. I'm here. I want to be involved by getting involved in the wreck. Hit the brakes. It is the most basic thing you got to learn about yourself in a wreck. Hit the brakes or caution's out. Slow it down.
Yeah, do want to avoid any further contacts, and unfortunately we've seen that a lot of times, pretty much every caution actually, there's been a secondary accident that's got other people in. And as ever, you just got to stay in the race. These drivers, the 37, the 81, I think even the 79, I was going to say maybe a lot of these drivers at the front, they were involved in minor incidents. You can come back, but if every single caution where you have an incident just on the brakes, of course, that's not going to help you at all.
Håkan Schött, he's back on the lead lap.
Oh,
Free
yes.
pass.
Sponsor of this race, the Håkan Schött 250. It's actually pretty cool in this community. The race titles are up for grabs for sponsors, for people to pay a little bit of money and then get their name. And Håkan Schött, he paid for it and just used his name. So it's Håkan Schött 250, and he gets that pass, which is very nice for him for the pick last by Bright Esports driving the 101 machine.
Nice to see him back onto the lead lap. He was running in the top 10. He still is in the same position he just was in, 9th. But he gets to be on the lead lap. Only one other driver, as of the last time we saw everyone cross the line, is 1 lap down. So he would get the free pass. That's Andre Salander, excuse me, and he's had a lot of problems in this race himself. It's in a battle of attrition, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It's a tough race to get the victory, to get to the end. Not many cars on the lead lap, which in some ways makes it easier for us because we know the handful of drivers who realistically should be winning this race. But let's see how it goes. Couple corners to go, and then we'll be going back to green flag racing with 21 laps to go at Bristol. Is he going to go green to the end, or is there going to be more cautions and more drama? Ericsson is going to be taking it away when we go back green flag racing. 250 laps here of Bristol, just 21 to go. The final 10% of racing here under the lights in Tennessee. The 37 gets a great run there, and Homer from that 3rd place also should be following through up towards the inside line. Of course, we'll stay side by side for quite a while as all the drivers go flat out to the end of the race.
Yeah, the one bad thing for Håkan Schött is he's got to start at the back of this field, except for everyone who's taking the wave around. So he's hoping for another caution to get more involved. Oh, that's
huge cars up into the wall. I think that was all by themselves, but there's another car as well going around. We stay green flags. They must have collected, but we're really seeing a huge sort of gap in the cars at the front. These are the faster drivers. They're on the lead lap, and there's a big gap. There's probably about 8 cars in that lead train.
Yeah, lots of things going on. Arlson's come back down to the pits. A bad day has gone even worse for Alexander. Daniel Holmer currently running side by side with Gunnarsson. We see the battle for the lead, though. That's 1st and 2nd. Jesper Eriksson, Michael Haflidason, Eric Blixt involved as well. Still the 2 race winners from this series as the 81 gets way loose. Got tight, then got loose. Coming off the exit of 2. We're coming down to it, man. There is everybody in this race could win it. My money, though, is on Jesper Eriksson. He was great as that run went on. He started to build out a gap, and now he's got fresh tires and no traffic in front.
Yeah, my main worry for him is having those 3 teammates in behind who, to be fair, they don't seem to be sort of helping each other directly as such, but just the fact that they are all there works out well for him. 37 is running a very good line at this moment. He's got about 4 or 5 car lengths in between him and 2nd place, who's at the moment the 81 of Haflidason. Blix has been in that 3rd place for a long time, but here comes Brostrom actually up the inside of the 42 in towards turn 3. Can he make that stick? He's been having a pretty solid race to come back, really involved in some incidents early on. It's been a long road for him to get back to the front, but as we're on 15 to go, he slides up there into 5th place.
Yeah, slid up into P5. Good for him. This is a great race. Brostrom, of course, was involved in that first caution. Almost involved again. Had to tap the wall. Lap traffic getting involved in too many situations right now.
Yeah, it's been the story of the day, hasn't it? Really.
Just get out of the way.
Yeah, multiple cautions has been with when the leaders come through.
Oh,
they're just so slow as the 37, 81 getting closer.
Right in front of them. They just passed him down at the inside, but Segelson hit the inside retaining wall at the pits and almost brought out another caution. There's what you should do right there.
Yeah, Oh, wow. The lap traffic really being a big factor today. Of course, half mile, 30 cars starting the race. Not a lot of time as 11 to go already. The Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan round 3 has been action-packed. About 8-9 cautions we've had so far. Almost gone out between the 37 and the 81. They battle for the lead. The 0-13 just getting slightly in the way there of the 81, but that is part of it. 10 to go now as the laps really continue down. 5 miles remain.
Anton Oman right there as well. That lapped car helped Ericsson for the time being, but lap traffic is absolutely a thing. I'm surprised. Haflidason is really running some great laps right now. I mean, that short-term speed is going to be huge. They're going to catch up to lap traffic in just a lap or two's time. There's around 5 drivers, a pack of them right in front. That's going to really scare him. Haflidason, he's going to slide up and get into the left rear quarter panel. Keeps it going straight, though. You knew that was happening.
Yeah, I saw that coming about 3 corners before, but what that's given is the 37. Has 0.3 of a second, 7 laps to go. That was the opportunity for Haflidason. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it work, and he's now got to get that momentum. Once again, looking at the back of the Bohlin's entry here for Ericsson, and of course, he's seen those 2 cars chasing down, but he's now got a 4/10 gap. He's gained another 10. Traffic could play the biggest factor as we come around to 5 to go.
Just got to get through these 2 cars battling side by side now, and then it's clean sailing. It's clear sailing for him. Now they're not side by side. Going down low, the 37 goes around the outside. Coming to 4 to go as we cross the stripe. Listen, impatience is the biggest enemy of victory. If you're impatient, if you make mistakes from trying to be impatient, it's going to cost you at the end of this race. I think that's what we saw and what we're seeing with Haflidason. I think he blew his chance there to get by Ericsson. 3 laps to go.
Oh, definitely is. The gap is getting bigger and bigger. Another couple of tenths on that lap. Yes, but Ericsson has got this one sorted. He won the second race of the season. Can he win the third one as well? He's on an absolute rampage here for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. The last 3 rounds, including the road course as well in the F4 cars, he's going to be taking victories as it stands if he can hold out for the final couple of laps.
Yeah, this, unless Ericsson makes a monumental mistake or gets involved here as the white flag waves with some lap traffic right in front of him, I don't think it's going to be a challenge. Haflidason's got to worry more about what's going on behind him.
Yes, Ericsson round the final 2 corners is going to take victory here at Bristol, Tennessee. It's the Håkan Schött 250. Look at him celebrate. He's really happy with that one, and congratulations to him. What a race it was for the number 37. He takes his 2nd victory in a row. Haflidason will get 2nd place. Ullman, after a really strong race, always up towards the front, will get 3rd place. And Brostrom, after all the issues, the 71 machine comes home 4th. Blixt will round out your top 5. Caution-filled race, but we went green flag across the line.
Yeah, I really think Ericsson, he's got to be thanking Haflidason for making such a brash move with around 9 laps to go. It was that moment that ended up costing him the race win.
Yeah, certainly. He went for it when he had the opportunity. There's about 7-8 laps to go, but it was too soon and he didn't make it work. He almost caused a wreck as well. That could have been big things, but in the end, he managed to keep it out of a wreck, so good job from that. But the 37 took the victory as we see the donuts on the front straight here. It's a great community we have, to be honest, so let's get the results, at least provisionally. Of course, you never know, penalties will come your way. But as they cross the line after 250 laps here for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan round 3, it was Jesper Eriksson for Forza Esports taking victory. Haflidason and Ullman came home to round off your podium. Brostrom is in 4th place with Blixt and Gunnarsson inside your top 6. Holmer and Erling, the top 8's the only drivers on the lead lap as we came across the stripe. Håkan Schött, your race sponsor today after 250 laps today, finished in 9th place with Salander, the 140. Despite being involved in a wreck towards the end, came home in 10th place. Solo, bit of a quiet day for him down in 11th place. Lundberg and Skoglund, they were always there around the top 10, but finished in 12th and 13th. Sherpen, your pole position driver, Aronson inside your top 15 with Ericsson and Stiller inside your top 17. And then we get to the drivers who are many, many laps down. Strömberg, this 64 machine, 17 laps down with Carlin, 22 laps down, and Skegelson, 24 laps down inside your top 20. And the final 10 drivers were Brostum, Johansson, Bjork, Hollerin, Bratberg, Tier 4s, Nagman, Nyholm, and Peter Helmbro, who didn't really feature too much today. today, 165 laps down. Anton Oman as well getting the fastest lap. That was certainly quite something. Let's try and get some drivers in for an interview to get their reaction after 250 laps of action. Look at Jesper Eriksson celebrate. That's awesome to see on the Zoom call there. Jesper, what a race from you. Your strategy was amazing, your racecraft was amazing, and even with Michael there having a run on you with 7 laps to go, you managed to hold on. So congratulations first, but also just what are you feeling right now?
Oh, I feel such a euphoria. I'm so happy. I never thought I was going to be able to win this race, because I know how much Linus and Alex and all of them have practiced, and I have pretty much just done the practice race on Monday and some laps yesterday. But man, what a race from everyone. This was so much fun. I just want to thank the whole team and Bohlin for sponsoring both the car and the whole series, and Mobbe Hyrbilar and just everyone from the whole team. Just such amazing atmosphere around everything.
How difficult was that race for you, though? You had so much pressure. Of course, at one point you dropped back to about 12th place with a slightly different strategy. You had to really work hard to get back to the front.
Oh man, just like last time, my strategy, my first stop, I thought I lost it there. Thought I was gonna wreck and be involved in something, but the stars aligned on Thursdays. My new favorite day. It's amazing.
Yeah, of course, that's 2 race wins in a row. How far do you think you can take this stretch? We know the likes of Max Verstappen can do 10 in a row. What do you think about that?
Well, if you count the Formula races last week, I think probably 10. No, I'm not gonna go 10, but this is hopefully next week too. It's Auto Club. It's not a track that I like, but stars might align again.
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing such a great job this season. Of course, you're going to be leading the championship. So congratulations on your win today here at Bristol.
Thank you so much, guys.
And next we'll bring in Michael Haflidarsson, the number 81. Michael, awesome race for you today. You're so strong. You're always up towards the front. You did drop down at one point a little bit, but just talk about that final overtake opportunity you had. It's about 7 laps to go. You went up the inside, but you almost wrecked trying to get the race lead.
I was giving it everything. I mean, it was very close. I think I could have gotten him if I were a little bit closer towards the entry of the corner, but I mean, I gave it a go, and the P2 is super good points for the championship, seeing as I have had 2 kind of bad first rounds, so I mean, shouldn't complain too much.
Yeah, definitely a very strong pace. And do you think there's anything you could have done to get Jesper at the end there? Because it seems like after that opportunity, the final sort of 5 laps or so, you just started to drop back a little bit. Maybe you didn't quite have the tyres to challenge Jesper.
No, I could have turned him.
Yeah, that's good.
No, but I could have, I don't know, it was too few laps. Like after I've done my pass, like the attempt I made, I just couldn't get the tires down to a reasonable temperature. I was struggling a little bit with them, so it was just managing them to the end and just trying to get to the end really. After that, I couldn't really go for another overtake.
And what do you think you can do over the next few races? Of course, your team, Orkentech, you've been so strong. You've got sort of 4 or 5 drivers right up to the top. Do you think you can maybe sneak that race victory in over the next few races?
I mean, I'm the race sponsor of next race, so it would be fun to win that one, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, Orkentech, we have a really strong bond together, me and the guys. We work really well together, and I think at bigger tracks like Talladega and stuff like that, we can hopefully bring a really good result for the entire team. I mean, we won the championship last year with Nyman and Almitech, which is now called MW Racing. Finished, I think, 4th. So I mean, we are a good team. We know how to work together. We know how to win races. So it's just a matter of time before we're winning again.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, congratulations for your P2 today.
Thank you very much.
And next we'll bring in Anton Uhrmann, the number 42. Anton, you were always up towards the front. Really strong race today. And of course, getting the podium at the end. So just tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was a really good race. I really like Bristol actually. So this is one of my favorite tracks. So yeah, I knew even before the race, I knew I had the pace. And yeah, we just kept driving with the team and just taking it chill, saving tires and really managing everything. There was a lot of traffic today, so yeah, but I just kept my head down and just banged out laps.
Yeah, and of course, how did you find the racing here at Bristol? It's so difficult to make the move. Sometimes you've got to go side by side for 5 or 6 laps before you can complete it. It must be pretty stressful from the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's really stressful. It's really hard to make an overtake really stick. You need to try and go high. Actually, the high line is where you overtake, as you probably have seen during the race. If you have better tires, you can actually make a move on the low side. But it's really tough to overtake, and yeah, it's really stressful.
Yeah, certainly difficult racing here. So thanks for talking to us, and congratulations on your P3.
Thank you.
And lastly, we'll bring in Mr. Linus Broström, the number 71, of course, series organizer, and having actually in the end a pretty strong result. You had to work really hard for that one, drop back barely on the lead lap, but yeah, you seem to get a good result out of it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that happened. I got 7 minutes of damage when I ran over Alex there when he got wrecked, and still had about 3 minutes left at the end of the race. So going into every single turn, I had no force feedback, and then as soon as the car landed, I had like 200% force feedback. So I'm not feeling too well, especially in my arms. But so coming home with a 4th place finish, I'm not really sure how that happened, to be honest. I was obviously hoping to win tonight, but with it being a short track, you never know what's going to happen, and with what actually happened and how much damage I had and how my car felt, I don't really know how I got this Harpsa Sweden Chevrolet in P4. It's unbelievable, really.
And from almost like the organizer's point of view, we had quotation marks only, I think it was 9 cautions in the end. We were potentially expecting more. How do you sort of see that? How did you find the racing and the lapping? It seemed, yeah, it was a little bit chaotic in some parts of the race.
I mean, we had from organizer standpoint, I mean, I was in the race, so I can't really tell, but seeing only 9 cautions in 250 laps at Bristol with these many cars, you automatically know that it was a good race. And it wasn't good racing. Obviously, I played catch up most of the race, so I didn't really get to enjoy it too much. But all the lap traffic stayed in their lanes, and everything seemed to go quite nicely. And we didn't have any big pileups, no traffic jams. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And I was kind of thinking it was going to be a wreck fest, so we'd have to alternate between Bristol and Martinsville every year. But seeing how well this went, we're definitely going to keep this. And with Martinsville being off the schedule this year, you can expect it to be on the schedule for next year. So I'm happy about that.
There's some nice information for the future. Yeah, thanks for speaking to us, and congratulations for P4.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Dylan, just final thoughts of this race today. 9 cautions, but it was certainly an entertaining race, and especially that last green flag run was awesome, the battle at the front.
Oh man, wasn't that wonderful? That was a fantastic race in general, especially that lengthy 90 or so lap green flag run that we had in the final, middle frame, the final third of the race. It was great. It was a good one. Really gotta make sure some drivers understand they gotta apply the brakes and try not to get too involved with lead lap battles going on late into the race. But other than that, it was a great show. Happy that we got to be here for the second straight race. Maybe we're gonna be doing this more often.
Yeah, maybe. Plenty of races to go. We have 20 races this season. That is 3 done. Next, we go to Auto Club for the Hafley Club 350. 109 laps on the 12th of October. Same time, 8 p.m. European time for round number 4 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. What an evening it was here at Bristol, but that wraps it up. And from here at Tennessee, we wish you a very warm goodbye.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Hos Bright Esports i Västerås kan du testa på både Nascar och olika formulabilar precis som Svenska Eracingligan deltagare. Gå in på brightesports.com och boka just din tid.